Welcome to Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Joyous conversations about what the afterlife evidence and modern science combine to tell us is true about our one reality. You have nothing to fear. You are eternal and you are perfectly loved. Knowing the truth changes everything. Now, here's Roberta.
Welcome to Seek Reality. I'm Roberta Grimes, and I'm just delighted that you can be with us today. Our guest today has one of those stories that I think we all love to hear. After an accident, Brandy Gillmore was confined to a wheelchair with a very painful condition, and you know the story. Doctors told her they couldn't cure it, so this was going to be her life. And she's young, and she's beautiful, and she's smart. So, left to her own resources, she did what anybody would do, of course. She healed herself. Now she's a mind-body expert. She counsels, she teaches, and she heals others. And this, of course, this is a story which is right up our alley here at Seek Reality. I mean, this is the kind of thing we love to see, we love to hear about. And this is Brandy's third episode with us here. I love to hear about her story, and I've wanted her to come back and tell it again and again. We've seen the immense powers here of the human mind. We believe these things are true because we've seen them happen again and again when people know that they can do it, and they do it. We love to see it. Even just the placebo effect, which is a sugar pill basically, has been shown to jumpstart healing. It's powerful. But that's, of course, where Brandy Gillmore began. Brandy immersed herself in every piece of research she could find on the mind and healing, and after enduring more than 6 years of disability and pain, she made a big discovery that she's going to share with us again today. It altered the course of her life, and it led to a complete recovery. But of course, for Brandy, that was just the beginning. After she healed herself in 2010, she didn't want to just talk about her healing. She wanted to help others see the proof of it. She wanted to help others see and understand that our minds really do possess that power to heal our bodies. And in 2015, she made that goal a reality when, for the first time, she was able to demonstrate self-healing in real time under thermal medical imaging. Now, imagine that. She proved it to the doctors. Soon after that, she was invited to deliver a TEDx talk, which was a pivotal moment for her. Since then, Brandy has continued to demonstrate amazing healing results using medical thermal imaging. She demonstrates these results on her own podcast, and that's called Heal Yourself, Change Your Life. Summarizes it pretty well. And in speaking engagements for medical professionals and general audiences, her book is called Master Your Mind and Energy to Heal Your Body. I've read it. It's wonderful. And now Brandy Gillmore is here with us for the third time. Brandy, welcome. I love having you here. And it's lovely, lovely to be able to share you with others.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And I have to say, the reason I keep coming back, you're just lovely. You're lovely. You're wonderful to connect with. You have a great heart. You have a fantastic, wonderful smile. And I love that we align on this mission of wanting to just make the world a better place. And that's, it makes my heart so happy to connect with you. So thank you. It's wonderful to be back.
I think we're on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
But
you know,
it's to know that it is possible to do what you did and for you to share it with people. I mean, you could have just gone on and said, well, I got out of that horrible situation I was in, and I'm just glad for myself, and I'm going to go be beautiful for the rest of my life. You could have done that, right?
You know, the thing of it is I never thought of myself as doing this. I literally said, okay, whenever I heal, I'm going to just share with doctors what I did, and then I'm going to go back to living my life. Because, 20 years ago, so my accident was 21 years ago. So I didn't think to myself, oh, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to feel like, and I also never expected that the answer was going to be the mind. If you had told me that I could heal with my mind, I probably would have thought you'd lost it. I would have thought that you didn't,
right.
Like that you were crazy, that you didn't understand my situation. And
right.
Even with the placebo, we can see the mind affects the body, but it also isn't necessarily healing. And so I thought, I'm think it's something a lot stronger than a little placebo. But I think one of the things that was really eye-opening to me was multiple personality disorder. The fact that one person, like a person could have one illness in one personality, a completely different illness in another personality, was mind-blowing. There was even a study of a woman who was medically blind in some personalities, but not in others. And I thought, wait a second. Wow. And other studies of a woman who had asthma in some personalities, but not others, or seizures or back pain or neck pain in some personalities. And they have personalities that are completely healthy. And I thought, well, gosh, I need a personality that's completely healthy. How do I do that? And
yeah. What store can I go to buy that healthy personality? Yeah, that's
and I have absolute compassion for anybody with multiple personality disorder. So I don't want to sound like I'm making fun of it in any way, because I'm not. But I was literally laying in bed saying, how do I do that? Yes. And I think that there were a lot of misconceptions, because I had been doing all the things. I had been meditating and thinking positive, and the binaural beats and the frequencies and the belief and all of the things, and it wasn't working. And I think one pivotal question I asked myself was how long do I have to meditate to get the mind-body connection to activate? And then I thought about the placebo, and I thought, well, how long do people who take the placebo need to meditate? Well, they don't. Well, wait a second. How long do people with multiple personality disorder need to meditate to get healing results? They don't. And I thought, well, they just get results in minutes. And I thought, I've been meditating for over 5 years, and nothing bad against meditation. Meditations or affirmations, all of those things might be great. And like anything else, there can be good ones and there can be not so good ones. But what it gave me was the clarity to say, okay, it's not what I'm doing. There's something I need to trigger in my mind or achieve in my mind. And it became empowering and laser focused when I started looking at it in that way. It's kind of like this. If I want to travel to New York from California, I could take planes, trains, automobiles, or a moped. There's a lot of different ways that I could get there.
That's right.
And so when I started saying, okay, well, meditation could be a tool. Maybe it's a tool I want to use. Maybe it's not. Maybe affirmations are a tool. But I need to understand how to get there. And then I can decide the vehicle that is best to take me, because up until that point, I had been doing all of the things, and the gratitude, the practice, and the meditation, and it wasn't working. And so the more I just became laser focused on what I needed to do with my mind, the more was pivotal. And that's the reason I like to show healing under medical equipment now in real time is that we can see, the more we're clear on what we need to do, then we can decide, do we want to take planes, trains, automobiles, moped, meditation, affirmations? How do we want to get there? You know?
Absolutely right. Yep, absolutely. That makes perfect sense to me. So, all right. So what did you do? Walk us through how you made it happen, because people are dying to hear that.
Well, don't let them die to hear it, because that kind of defeats the whole purpose. Don't die to hear this. Live to hear this.
Live to hear
and
it.
then live.
Wow.
Full of vitality. So, and I get it. I'm being playful, but absolutely that. So the process that I ultimately outlined is called the GIFT method. And it's about, like, step G is getting new healthy mind programming. Step I is about identifying the problem. Like, what are the specific problems in the mindset? And then step F, GIFT, F is freeing yourself from it. So it's about rewiring your mind. And then step T is about transformation, embodying the transformation.
Right.
And so it's a step-by-step process. But basically, if we were going to put this in a simple way, if we were just going to simplify this all, we could say this. We could say, if somebody has a patterned way of thinking and feeling, let's say somebody has a patterned way of thinking and feeling in anxiety, well, that could cause panic attacks. If somebody has a patterned way of thinking and feeling in embarrassment, it could cause their face to turn red. If somebody has a patterned way of thinking and feeling in fear, that could create stress and fear in their body. And so I would say a few things. I started looking at how different emotions affect the body differently, and started looking at the awareness that if we could identify which emotions are affecting the body, that we could create a pivotal change. And then this is what I mean, is that, if we look at embarrassment, somebody's face turns red. We all know that. Emojis know that on our cell phones.
Yes.
If we look at sexual thought, sexual physical response, it's different for men or women, but we know that there's that connection. None of us would be here without that one, right? So when we think about it, it's important, but we can see different emotions affect us differently.
Yes.
And so I started thinking about, what about the rest of the emotions? I mean, we know that if somebody's feeling disgust, they may want to vomit. We know that somebody can die of a broken heart, or somebody can be so scared, they're scared to death, their heart just stops. And so we can see different emotions affect the body in a different way. And so, somebody can be nervous and their palms can sweat, or they can have a nervous stomach. And so, or they, and so the thing of it is we could see different emotions. And so what I started doing is looking at and saying, okay, well, if different emotions affect the body differently, what emotions in my subconscious mind might be unknowingly affecting me, and how
Right.
can I change that?
Right. What a powerful thought that is.
Right. And I
Yes.
think, but by the way, the other part of me said, but I had an accident and I had an injury and I had a car
Yes.
accident and a
Yes. Yes.
fall. It can't be my emotions. But I think the thing that was pivotal that helped me to see that emotions actually can affect our physical body is that there were even studies of people who had surgery. They were even cut open and they had surgery. And if they were optimistic afterwards, they had a much better chance of healing and speed
Oh,
up healing.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
And if they're in a negative state, what happens?
Oh, they can never get better. Yep.
They have, much higher rate of complications, rehospitalization, slower healing,
Yep.
even slower cell proliferation. So even if we look at a cellular level, basically what cell proliferation is cell proliferation is the growth and division of cells. So like
Yes.
a simple way to think about it is like dish soap. If we pour water on dish soap, it bubbles up. And similarly, our body, when it's healing, it has growing and dividing
Yes.
cells.
Yes.
But if somebody's stressed and in a negative, fearful state, it's slower. And if somebody's in a positive state, it happens faster. And by the way,
Yes.
that's even true for anti-aging, which is the reason you look like you're 50 something and you look so darn young, is because when you're happy and you're laughing all the time and you're in positivity, that also helps speed up the body's repair.
By the way, thank you for that.
Absolutely. But I mean, you don't look your age. Let's just admit this.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you think about it, we've all seen somewhere where somebody will go through a really hard period of time and they look aged. In fact, we see that with people who become president all the time. They get in office and suddenly they're gray.
Yes, they age 5 years for every year. Many of them do. Every year they're in office. It's quite amazing. Yes.
Exactly. And you could see that. And so, and by the way, even after I healed myself, one of the things my mother said is she goes, wow, you just look so much younger. And of course, me being silly, I said, well, you didn't tell me I looked old in the first place.
I'm sorry, when you said to me that this all happened 20 years ago, I was thinking, oh my God, you mean when you were 10, it happened?
True.
Because you look like you must be maybe 29 or 30 years old.
I'll take it. Thank you. Yeah, my accident happened 21 years ago.
I cannot believe that, dear. It is so amazing to me because you couldn't be 30. I mean, you really, the way you look.
Thank you. I'll take it.
But it is true. I mean, I look at people my age and I cannot believe they all look like they're 20, 30 years older than I am. I cannot. But I think that just proves your point. We really don't age if our minds don't age.
We really,
astonishing to me.
exactly. So the
More
idea,
and more I see that's true.
it is so true. There are people who are 60 who are so old, and there are people who are 60 who are so young.
It is amazing. It is true.
Yeah. It's just, and so when somebody told me, like if somebody had told me that I could heal with the mind, I would have thought it is impossible. But the more that I started looking at all of the power of the mind and the placebo and then multiple personality disorder and even healing after surgery, I thought, well, there's where you can see physical difference,
Yeah.
or even there's a research study from Harvard. This shows that emotional vitality can actually reduce chances of coronary heart disease by approximately 50%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
why is that important? Heart disease is a leading cause of death.
Well, yeah. Yeah. That's pretty huge. There's
That's
a pretty huge
huge.
statistic for you right there, my dear. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
So if we think about it, the problem is this, is that I would say there's two primary issues. One is this. We suppress our emotions, so we don't realize we're feeling them. And one way to think about is this, is that you hear people who go to the emergency room who think they're having a heart attack, and they get there and the doctor says, oh, you're having a panic attack. And they don't even know it because they've suppressed the emotion so much. They don't realize it.
Yes.
So the way that I see it is this, is we've all suppressed emotions so much that we don't even realize that we're experiencing them. And that was me. I didn't realize I had all this fear in my subconscious mind. I suppressed it and thought it was crazy. And so I was suppressing it and not realizing that it was affecting my physical body. And so I would say that's one issue, is just like somebody can go to the emergency room and they're suppressing the anxiety and they don't realize they're having a panic attack, that all these other emotions of fear or rejection or upset or hurt or anger or sadness or whatever it is are affecting us, and we have no idea. So that's one problem, and that we don't see. The second one is this, is that when I was going through my injury, I started looking at everything objectively. And I thought, well, wait a second here. If this stress is so horrible, then how is it that somebody can have PTSD and severe trauma and not be sick? Well, how does that work?
Yeah. Figure that one out.
Yeah. And what I began to figure out was this, it was all about the combination of emotions. And a simple way to think about it is, if somebody wants to make cake and they have flour, they can't make cake. But if they have flour and they mix it with eggs and butter, or vegan eggs and butter and other ingredients, now they can make cake. And that's how I figured out how it was possible for somebody with multiple personality disorder to have different illnesses and different personalities, and even personalities that have no illness. It was a combination. And to give you an idea of the combination, by the way, the combination could be this, that somebody's self-image sees themselves as being a sick person. So sometimes what happens is that somebody may have a mother who's sick, and so they identify as being sick, or maybe they were sick as a child, and then they have the identity, I'm a wounded sick, I'm a victim, I'm a this. And so the combination that can happen in the mind is key. Yeah. And that's how I show it under medical equipment, is I just, in minutes, is I help people identify what are the specific emotional ingredients, what are the problems, and then how do we shift them and free yourself from them. And that has been pivotal. And it's not just pain. I've seen people bedridden who are walking again and running again and great, and their blood work's great. I've seen people autoimmune conditions. Their doctors are shocked because their blood work is now all normal. I have seen people paralyzed. They can't walk, like I all kinds of things.
Wow. This is so big. What do the doctors say when you show them this?
I have some people who are doctors who refer people to me. I have others that are just mind blown. I have others who say, you know what, Brandy, we've known that stress affects the physical body. We just haven't been able to do anything. This is incredible. And so, but that's the thing. And that's what I'm so excited about and also passionate about is when we stop and think about it, it's literally written in the Bible thousands of years ago A merry heart is a medicine to the body. Ill thoughts will dry the bones. It's written there. And metaphysics and stress and psychoneuroimmunology. So the great thing is it's literally written throughout history. Yeah. And we can see the placebo and stress affects the body. So basically all I didn't figure out that part. What I figured out was how to use it, how to get results on their medical equipment and show it and prove it. And so the great thing is, and that's what I really want for our time in this planet, is for people to really realize that, hey, we can do this.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, imagine what that would look like for generations to come. If this information has been written for thousands of years, but it's our generation, this time in our world, in the world, that we make it a reality, that it becomes, hey, we can get results. We can do this. How pivotal that is for future generations. That's my hope. So I want to see people get results. I want to see people wake up and feel empowered and heal themselves and get results and say, oh, okay, I can do this. Because we know stress affects the body, but we just have to work with the mind in a different way and really understand it to get results.
It's like big medicine has erased everything we knew and tried to replace it with chemicals. And the chemicals have destroyed everything we thought we knew. And now we have to get rid of the chemicals and go back to what we knew before.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. I always tell people, whatever your doctor has you taken, I don't want to tell you to stop taking it. Talk to your doctor because, I don't want to tell you just stop taking it. But you're right. As far as chemicals, but this is the thing.
Do you know what really when Picasso went into the caves and looked at the cave paintings and he came out again, you know what he said?
What?
He said, "We have learned nothing."
Okay.
They knew it all along. They knew it back then.
Well, but if you think about it, it's a theme. Watch this. How many young kids used to come into this world with an imagination where they're playing Barbies or cars or this, that, the other, or having a tea party with no actual teacups or empty teacups, but they're having a tea party. So the thing of it is, we come into this world visualizing, imagining. Right, and then we say, well, we need to grow up and be more sophisticated. But when you stop and think about it, Olympic athletes use visualization to help them win. So we have these powerful mind tools, but exactly
powerful minds that we are born with.
Exactly. And then like we forget everything we used to know and we say, oh, this culture has done it better. We shall use just chemicals.
He said you can't learn anything till you forget everything you thought you knew. Exactly. That's what Descartes said.
Yeah. It's just so we're literally needing to realize that we need to wake up and actually how amazing our minds really are. But that's what's exciting.
Oh, it's so exciting. It gives me shivers. It really does. It's so amazing.
Yeah. And this is what else I find exciting is that our thoughts, we're talking about visualization. Our thoughts help create our lives. We could talk about the power of visualization, or we could even look at psychology and we could think about the unfortunate example, a woman with an abusive father may leave him and find the abusive boyfriend, boss, spouse, etc. That pattern can continue. Now, it's not like she goes on a date and says, hey, by the way, I have to make sure you're going to be an abusive in about 8 months or this relationship isn't going to work. She doesn't say that. No, instead she says, I just want a really nice guy. And then she manifests what's in her subconscious mind. Yeah. And so but what's exciting about that is for anybody who is stuck in those patterns, we can become excited that we can change them because all patterns, not just the woman with the abusive father, but that shows up, but victim patterns or rejection patterns or hurt patterns or whatever. So if we see a pattern in life we're stuck in, we can look at it and we could transform it. And that's what's exciting. Or health issue or whatever it is. And I think when we start to look at the awareness that our thoughts really do create our lives, whether we want to call it repetition, compulsion, reenactments, attachment theory, law of attraction, metaphysics, quantum physics, God, praying, whatever we want to call it, our thoughts help create our lives.
Oh, absolutely right.
And why would anybody ever be bored? We should all, even when we're in our almost 80s, have visions to look forward to, right? And as much happiness.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Every day is your first day. Every day you are reborn. It's just
well, every day we have something to look forward. Oh, I want to do this and I want to do this. And,
yes,
just,
yes.
and feeling that sense of excitement towards life.
Oh, yeah.
And unfortunately, if we feel like, oh, life is horrible and hard and terrible, life is going to say, I will reflect that to you.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what you want. That's what you can get. Right.
Yeah. All men are abusive alcoholics.
Absolutely.
Okay.
There you are.
But there you are. We just won't count Sam, who's the sweetest guy ever. But
everyone, Sam is our engineer. We all love Sam.
But really, obviously not all men are abusive alcoholics. But my point is what's exciting about healing is that I call it like, the spiritual check engine light. It is basically like if we're driving a car and the check engine light comes on, we know there's something wrong with the car. And if we're in life and we have something that's off with our health, it is a spiritual wake the heck up light, a spiritual check engine light to say, hey, something is off. You'll want to fix it. And that's what's beautiful is that, all the time I see people who heal themselves from things. And that's, as you heal yourself, you change your life because you address what's really going on. Yes. And it becomes pivotal.
This is so wonderful. So what you do is to teach people that life is going to be just about as wonderful as you expect and want it to be.
And align with it to be, because we can expect and we can want, and this is sometimes what happens, is people expect life to be great and they want to be great. And then inside, they feel like they don't deserve it though, or they feel guilty.
I see. So you have to remodel them on the inside to align.
Well, they have to remodel themselves. But yeah, exactly. We have to identify what it is. Yes. Some people, they feel like they deserve punishment, or that they're
to help them align with the expectation they have for what reality needs to be for them. So they will, okay, I get it. And so that's what wow, you are helping people to rebuild themselves to be the person who can deserve what they hope and want their lives to be.
Exactly. It's like they have to seek reality, Roberta.
I didn't, but it was my spirit guide who chose that name. I didn't know why. I thought, but that's what he wanted. So you're right. That was a good name, actually.
It's a beautiful name. But we seek reality, and then we also create our realities. And we really realize that in reality.
So who comes to you for help? What kinds of people come to you and say, Brandy, I'm trying so hard to heal this or heal that I've been to doctors that can't help.
I hear it all of the time. And who comes to me? I would say people who are ready to heal, who are ready to change. I do work with a lot of celebrities or athletes or people all over, just amazing people all over the world. Also, my biggest goal has been to really help more and more people. I want to see more and more people feel empowered, feel like they can do it. And that was a part of the reason that I came out with the book, is so people can read and say, okay, this is how energy works.
I really recommend. We'll talk about it at the end of our hour. I just thought it was terrific. But so they come to you and they say, how can I be the self that I know I can be, but I'm trying to be? Help me empower myself to be my own best self.
Well, interestingly, what a lot of people do, they come and they say, I can't heal from this and this and this. And my doctors say there's nothing and I'm stuck and I'm fine. I've done everything in meditation and positive thinking and eating and diet and all of the things. And I've made some progress, or I'm going back, or whatever it is. And then we look at it and we look at what's going on in their mindset and they go, oh my gosh, I see that pattern. I just didn't realize it was affecting me. And so that's what it looks like is they go, oh my gosh. And then we look at changing it and it becomes a gift. That's why I call my method the gift method, is because when we heal ourselves, it's literally, it's just a life-changing gift.
Oh, this is really, I think it's really amazing what you've done for yourself. I mean, you're just a living advertisement for what is possible when people do what you have been able to do. You really can make it work. It's quite amazing.
Thank you. You should see it under medical equipment. It's also, that's like, so after I healed myself, I thought people are going to think this is impossible, or it's only me, or I can only do it. And that's part of the reason that I wanted to show it. And so what I started doing is I started showing people how to release pain, and they were shocked. They were going, oh my gosh, my pain is gone. And then I was asked to speak on stage, and I would take people from the audience and I would show them how to shift pain. Like maybe they had neck pain and then it's gone. And I thought to myself, I remember getting off stage one time, large audience, and I was getting off stage, and I thought, sometime people are going to think that's fake. That couldn't be real. And that probably would have been me, by the way. I was like world's biggest skeptic. So that would have been me.
But I'm skeptical too by nature, until I started living the life I'm living now. And I'm not skeptical about it anymore because I see it really works. You can live up to being your own best self, and it's not a problem.
Exactly. But that's what I thought. I thought somebody's going to say, oh, I had neck pain and ta-da, it's gone. That doesn't make sense. So then I thought, as I was getting off stage, I thought, I have to show this under medical equipment. And that's when I thought of medical thermal imaging. And what medical thermal imaging is it is this advanced type of medical technology that picks up on heat from illness or tumors or infection or things like that. And a simple way to think about it is, let's say somebody sprains their ankle. They might have heat radiating from it, or an injury or a cut or a wound or pain or arthritis or tumors. There's heat radiating from this pain and inflammation and illness, infection. Right. And so advanced medical thermography can actually pick up on this heat, and it detects even into the body, and it detects it at a really, really advanced level. And so what I started doing is I would show somebody with neck pain, and I would have them scanned under medical thermal imaging, and you would see their neck, wherever the pain was all red on the scan.
Yes.
Or their back, if their back was pain, then you'd see it all red, and the rest of the area was green, but the problem area was all red. And then I would show somebody how to use their mind to release their pain. And you'll literally see the scan turn from red to green as their pain goes away. And I'll ask them, how's your pain? And they're like, oh my gosh, it's gone. And so this is what I even had published in the medical journal. Now, what I also showed was that it wasn't just placebo. It wasn't just belief, because number one, I didn't tell anybody what we were going to do. I just talked to them. Number two, I also showed, without even telling them, that if they went back into the negative, their pain came back and they would go up. And also you could see it on the scan. And I never told them that was going to happen. And so you could see it go up and down and back and forth. And so it's not just pain, but what I love that you could see the actual changes. And of course, I always tell people, once you make the change, you have to reinforce the new mindset, but that's when it becomes pivotal. It's like multiple personality disorder, except for you go into that new positive personality or that new shift, that mindset.
Of course.
And you
Absolutely.
keep it. You just never go back to the negative. Yeah, it's incredible.
Powerful. Just amazing. That's just amazing and wonderful.
It's truly incredible what we're capable of. And as human beings, a lot of times we underestimate what is possible for us. If somebody had told me that I could heal myself, to be honest, I probably would have been offended. And then I would have thought that they were nuts. And when we really start to look at what our minds can do, it's incredible. Now, something else I talk about in my book is also energy of the body. Because we hear about energy and whatnot, and a lot of people think, oh, it's just woo-woo. But this is what's also mind-blowing is that energy of the body has actually been medically discovered, medically documented. And the gentleman who discovered it back in the 1920s. And after he did, it was nominated for the Nobel Prize 11 times and actually won, similar to the Nobel Prize, in Russia. And so that happened 100 years ago. And then fast forward to today, there is like this database of advanced research that's under the NASA agreement that it's maintained by the Smithsonian and Harvard, this database. And it has current modern day studies of energy of the body. So we have light energy from the body. It is medically documented. It is medically documented that different energies are connected to different illnesses. It's medically documented that this light energy can affect healing and cellular proliferation. It's also documented that our own thoughts and emotions can help shift this light energy. Now, the problem with it is that number one, most of Western medicine's research historically was built on research from cadavers, dead bodies. They don't have any light energy.
Of course.
So that's number one, the problem. Number two.
Big problem. Yep.
Exactly. Number two, and technically there's three issues. Most doctors don't even know it exists. In fact, I have had top researchers who have read my book and then looked at it and said, no, this can't be possible. And then they looked it all up and they go, oh my God, how is it that I've been a medical researcher for 30, 40, 50 years and I never knew that the body emitted light energy and our mitochondria emit light energy? And medical researchers don't even know. Most medical researchers don't. And I've had literally high level researchers come up to me and say, I cannot believe I have been researching the body this long and I had no idea. Nobody even told me that the body emits light energy. So that's another thing. The other issue is that the body emits light energy. So it's called biophotons, technically, or when it was first discovered, it was mitogenetic radiation, but biophotons is the common name now. And a simple way to think about it is like this, is a light bulb emits particles of light, little particles of light, and those are called photons. The sun.
Right, photons. Yes.
Yeah, the sun emits particles of light. It's called photons. So it's called from the body biophotons because it's a biological organism. So plants emit biophotons. So these little particles of light. Now the problem is that if you try to measure the light from the body and you're in the sun or you're under a light bulb, you can't because now it interferes. You have all of this other light that's interfering. So to be able to test the light energy of the body, you have to be in complete darkness. And so and it looks like I've been in it looks like getting into a freezer or a bank vault where they lock the door and it's completely pitch black. Like even ventilation from oxygen goes in there so you can breathe. It is completely pitch black. And then they use something called a photomultiplier tube to help to measure this light energy because it just emits and it's so weak. So the problem is that even though we know that different illnesses have different energies, even though we know that this light energy has been shown to influence cellular proliferation and healing of the body and the cells, we know that. And even though we know that there is a direct correlation between the thoughts and emotions and this energy, we haven't done anything with it. There's not what it would yeah. So, and technically speaking, there are some people who are working on creating a database. So some alternative thoughts around this light energy where some people are looking at creating a database for a non-diagnostic tool. And this is what I mean, is that, cancer cells emit a different light energy than non-cancer cells, or people with type 2 diabetes emit different energies than people that don't have type 2 diabetes. And so what some researchers are trying to do, a small handful, are trying to collect enough data on different illnesses to then have a non-diagnostic or a non-invasive diagnostic tool that if somebody's emitting a certain type of energy, they could say, oh, this is type 2 diabetes, or, oh, this is cancer.
Which now, of course, in
it could be very valuable. Now, of course, in my situation, I didn't have a diagnosis. I had plenty. Instead, I just wanted to heal. And so that's when I said, okay, well, how can I use this information? Now, understanding that our thoughts and emotions were connected to this light energy, I said, okay, well, how can I see the correlation? And of course, it goes back to emotions. Emotions. The other thing that's really powerful about this light energy is this, is that it's shown to communicate information through the body, including homeostasis. And so I know this is a little technical, but let's think about it in this way. A simple way to kind of bring this all and simplify it is this, is if one person takes a placebo, a fake sugar pill, and they're told it's going to help with their IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, it can. Now, another person can take a little fake sugar pill, and they're told it could help with Parkinson's, and it can. Not that it'll heal it, but it can help. And I thought, well, wait a second. How does that get communicated through the body? And somebody else could be taking a placebo and told it has negative side effects, and it could have those. And I thought, well, this is more than just belief, because how does that specific information get connected to the body and informed? And that's when I started also looking at biophotons. So my point is just simply that we're amazing, that our minds are more amazing than we realize. And it's all there in data, in research. We can see and connect the dots.
Absolutely.
And we just have to realize we're all amazing, Roberta. That's what I am trying to tell you. If you seek reality, we find we're amazing, as you know.
Absolutely. Oh, yes. Absolutely. Right. And there are people who are beginning to do this research. The Discovery Institute in Seattle, for example, which it does it from the perspective of Christian scientists, not the religion Christian Science, no, but scientists who are Christians who nevertheless are scientists. And actually, their research is interesting and helpful because they're, for example, trying to find, to do research on the beginning of life, which you cannot do if you are refusing to look at the evidence from a materialist perspective. Impossible.
Well, if you think about it, how many angels have halos of energy over their heads? Right. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Energy.
But the people who are scientists and who insist that the source of life, for example, cannot include the possibility that there is a consciousness-based original source of life, they'll never find one because, of course, there isn't a traditional Christian God. I guarantee you of that. Guy with long beard, no such thing. But consciousness is
Santa Claus. You're telling me Santa Claus does not exist? Guy with long beard.
I'm so sorry, dear. Oh, I'm so sorry. I wish I could hug you now. But there isn't. The consciousness is really all that exists. There is nothing else.
This is what I think. Some people might call it God, and I can respect that. And some people might call it.
You can call it alphabet soup. It doesn't really matter. I don't think God minds actually what you call God.
Universe, divine. That's what I always tell people. God, universe, spirit, divine, whatever you want to call it. We can all call it whatever we want.
There is nothing else but consciousness which exists. Everything else is a manifestation of consciousness.
But isn't God consciousness? We don't know.
Right.
I just say that out of respect for whatever name people want to call it.
Yes. The danger, though, is that people start, if you say it's God, people assume the Christian God with the long beard and hell. And that's not what it is, in fact.
Yeah. And this is, I always tell, I think that what's good is I think that a lot of people's minds are expanding on what that term God means. And I think that I see a lot of people who are getting rid of the guy with the beard as God type of feel. And it's just some people still have that, but I think a lot of people are becoming a spiritual sense to the God
Oh
energy.
my
But
dear, they're flocking to places like emailing me to say,
yeah,
help me understand now. I finally get out of my church because I didn't like what they were saying. Tell me what's true. And it's been wonderful, actually, to
yeah.
hear.
And if we think about it, even in the Bible, it does say a merry heart is a medicine. Ill thoughts will dry the bones.
Yes,
And so
yes,
I would say that it is expanding the consciousness around God to become
yes.
aware that God is consciousness and
But that's the
consciousness is
point I was
God.
going to
And
make.
I'm
What
with
you
you.
are doing is you are working with this very consciousness that the people at the Discovery Institute are working with. Very same consciousness that is the source of life, the source of all reality. It's all the
It's
same
energy.
thing.
It is.
This infinitely powerful energy, which we are also a part of. We
Exactly. And
are all
ourselves.
working with this same amazing energy.
It's incredible.
It
It's
is so
absolutely.
extraordinary and it's
Mhm.
infinitely powerful. So
Mhm.
for you to, I mean, you could have been at death's door and you're working with this infinitely powerful source, capital S. It is just,
Yeah. We're on the same page. It's incredible. And it's incredible that we all have this ability, and when we stop and think about it, we've all been in a place before where maybe it's like you have a lot going on and you feel stressed and you maybe catch a cold or this, that. And it's like, so the great thing is when we expand consciousness or we talk about energy or we talk about being stressed and having a cold, or we talk about the awareness that even medical studies have shown that stress can actually, they suggest that stress can actually cause autoimmune conditions. And so when we
really,
start to,
oh, yes,
not only that, this is the other thing is when we're sick or injured or have an illness, let's be honest, we can have good days and bad days. And I always tell people, what do you have, like half an illness one day and half an illness, then more whole illness the next, and it goes up and down and up and down. We can see there is a fluctuation in it. And so it's beautiful. It's like the more we just become aware that we are incredible. And I would say this, though, I would say part of the reason that I've been so successful at getting results is because not only can I think in this expanded way of consciousness, but then I'm also practical to say, okay, well, specific emotions affect the body in a specific way and understand how to do it. So it's like taking both the analytical and the practical awareness of repetition, compulsion, reenactments, attachment, like understanding how the mind works and the neuroscience and understanding that, and then combining it with the expansive awareness of energy and consciousness and seeing how they, like, it's just like putting it in a step-by-step process. And so I would say when we
yes.
can just be practical about it and be practically conscious, it's going to be amazing.
Yes, yes. But you really have nailed it in your book and in the work you're doing, and you are just extraordinary. And we have gone so over time. But I am what
I'm going to blame that on you.
no.
If I
Yes, well,
wasn't
I don't
having
want to
such a
stop.
good time talking to you, this would have never happened.
No, I totally could have talked with you all afternoon. What do you want people to take away from our conversation?
I would say the biggest thing is this is just, we used to think that it was impossible to run a mile in under 4 minutes. So the 4 minute mile, we used to think it was impossible. And then one man did it, Roger Bannister, he ran that. And after he did, there were people that after that started running the 4 minute mile. Now, and it became a new norm. Now, if you ask me, could I run a 4 minute mile right now? The answer is no. Why? Because there is a skill to running that fast. There is a training to running that fast. Now, if I had practiced and done all the things, could I? That's a different story. And so my point is part of it is knowing that we can do something. And then the other part is having the skill and saying, okay, let me build the skill. And that's the thing is I knew for years when I started looking at the placebo and multiple personality disorder and all of the things, I could see all of the evidence that our minds were amazing. And yet there was a skill that I had to learn how to figure out how to do it. And the more that we can combine that, we've seen it, again, it's written in the Bible, a merry heart is a medicine, ill thoughts will dry the bones. But it is, if we look at this time in reality, more and more people are sick, more and more people are living in depression and injured and hurt and wounded, and more illness and more problems and all of these things. And if we in this lifetime, the more people that start waking up and getting results and making a change and being happy and healthy,
Yes.
the more we change the world and we wake more people up. So I would say, please, the more we wake it up for future generations, for our generation, for our world, the more that every single person is happy and healthy and thriving and loved and loving, the better this world is for all of us. So please take time.
Oh, beautifully said, my dear one. Oh, my goodness. You just do such a wonderful job. And everything you say is so true. And I can't believe you were one minute past the age of 25. I'm so sorry to say that, but that's just the way it is. So this kind of, you were 3 when you had your accident, right?
Thank you. Yes, because I was doing network engineering and operations when I was 2. I started it when I was 2. Which is what I used to do before I was. So yeah, now I'm going to spend another hour with you.
Yes, we'll do this again soon.
You're lovely. Thank you so much. I love your heart. I love your laughter. I could laugh with you all day. Thank you for having me, beautiful. Thank you. And I love your awareness, your consciousness, and the happiness you bring to the world. So thank you.
We have so much fun together. Meanwhile, my dear one, stay because I want to talk to you afterwards. Meanwhile, this has been Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. As you can see, I just love our wonderful guests today. Please never forget that you are a powerful, eternal being. You never began, you never will end. And when you understand what that means, it means everything. When you understand what that means, your life will never be the same again. Next week, our guest will be Ray Catania, who will be with us for the 3rd time. Ray is an author. He's a metaphysical teacher, a theorist, and a life coach. He's the visionary behind Limitless Publications, Limitless Coaching, and Scientific Spirituality for the Modern Human. And he's written 2 books so far. I think he may have a 3rd one now out. He's an ordained minister too, and with the master certifications in life coaching, Reiki, and meditation. And our listeners have always enjoyed him when he was here before. So please do come and listen again. I think you're going to enjoy what he has to tell us next week. This week we've been talking with Brandy Gillmore. I think I just love this woman because she had a problem she had to solve for herself. And in doing that, she solved it for everybody else as well. Her book is called Master Your Mind and Energy to Heal Your Body. And she really, really did that. Her story is real, and I know it's real because I've read the book, and what she discovered is true, and it's huge. I recommend you read the book, but I also recommend you come back again whenever Brandy Gillmore is with us again, because her discoveries are truly miraculous, and her life, I think, is confounding. And as you know, our great friend Craig Hogan is the president and guru of Seek Reality Online. So go there. Because you don't have a choice. I'm so sorry. Many people say, I don't want to live forever, so I don't have to go and check out Seek Reality Online. But you don't have a choice there. I'm so sorry. You're going to live forever, whether you like it or not. So go to check out his one source resource for what it's going to be like to live forever and get your own head start on eternity. And of course, teachingsbyjesus.com is your best resource for all the beautiful divine truths that are brought to us in perfect love by the greatest teacher of them all, Master Jesus. As the Christianity that was taught to us by the Roman Emperor Constantine and is not the real Christianity, as it finally dies away, the teachings of Jesus can finally come alive. So let's get a head start on listening to Jesus too and hearing what the truth finally is. And as you know, I have some books, but we've run out of time. I can't talk about them. And all of the more than 550 past episodes of Seek Reality are available wherever audio podcasts can be found. You also can see the new video episodes each week on Roku or Fire Stick, YouTube, and elsewhere. Meanwhile, this has been Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Please enjoy and make the most of this coming week in our one reality, always knowing that you are a powerful, eternal being in you, most of all in this entire universe. You are infinitely, eternally, and perfectly loved.
You've been listening to Seek Reality with Roberta Grimes. Roberta blogs and answers questions at robertagrimes.com. Join us every week as we explore what the afterlife evidence and modern science combine to tell us is true about the one reality we all share. Knowing the truth changes everything.